How we doing? How we doing? What's up, Luxie? Just getting everything ready, guys. All right. There we go. All right, let's see what we got going on today, guys. So we're going to talk about yesterday. First things first. So yesterday, wasn't really looking at anything for UK 100 DAX. You guys know yesterday we were looking for sells on the NQ. And we did pretty much just that. No fucking way, I just froze. What happened? Oh my god. Something just completely fucking froze. What's my luck? Discord just froze, guys. Weird. But it wasn't just Discord. Oy. Hold on, guys. We're so bugged out right now. What the fuck? Oh my god. This YouTube live now. Give me one more second there. And then we should be good to just go for it. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're good. 1, 2. Alright. We're good. Alright, I don't know what happened, guys. I'm very quiet. Let's see, let's fix that. Sound better now? I don't know why. Sometimes when I share my screen, it's better. Better. Hopefully you can hear me. Alright, guys. So, yesterday, it's going back to what I was saying. Okay. Obviously, yesterday we're looking for sells. I never had opportunity. I think we actually ended up having opportunity later on after London session. Again, the idea yesterday was to take Tokyo lows. We had a potential setup, barely missed our entry by a point. Price just ended up selling off, finally came down into these lows. Before it came down to these lows, what did it do? It continued to expand that overall range that I was talking about, finally had that deep pullback of that entire range, and then actually made its way down for at least a 1-to-1. Did go lower for 1-to-2, but at this point, I just wasn't really interested in taking it. It was super late. It just wasn't for me. Okay. It is what it is. Bias played out. Everything was correct, other than the fact that we had entry, but it just missed by a point. So let's go into today, right? So today we can start with NASDAQ. First things first, I'm looking at, we obviously had this bullish run here during, what's it called? Looks like after New York into Tokyo. Had a nice little bullish run. Obviously had a really quick sell-off right after. I think that was another all-time high push, which is kind of strange. The way the hourly is looking right now, I'm like a little iffy about it. But nonetheless, like we were originally bullish. I could potentially say that buyers could step back in here to push price back up to the highs. But again, like we were a little bit bearish for a little bit. So we'll see. I mean, we're still in this bearish leg from what I can see from this high to this low within that internal structure. So I'd want to see a break of this high for me to even consider buys. But what we could be looking at is obviously, since we're trading the 1 minute, I have a feeling once we break this high, we could look for a pullback on the 1 minute to facilitate the pullback of this 5 minute leg. Okay, but obviously we need to see a break structure. Okay, first things first. But nonetheless, I think it's not as clean today as far as like we don't really have a setup just yet. I wouldn't want to sell anything unless we start continuously breaking and making new lows. But again, we'll see. Sorry guys, I'm so tired. I just woke up from a nap. All right, let's go over to Niicksfx 100. So you guys know I've just been shitting on or hating on it the past couple days. Let's see. So I don't know if we've ever facilitated the pullback, at least not yet. From this low, this high, nothing. All right, we still need a deep pullback here. We still need a little bit to go. We've been super bearish on DAX. Okay, we're still sitting within that hourly bearish leg. We can go down to lower time frames. Even if we were just playing this hourly leg, we could end up catching something here. I genuinely doubt it. I may just have to continue to sell with trend. Okay, I genuinely may have to. We've just been trending very nicely for so long. One thing I don't like is, I guess from here, hold on. Within this structure here, from this high to this low, we haven't had a deep pullback. So playing like this internal leg lower could put us at risk, being that price may not want to go lower and may just want to facilitate the deeper pullback of that larger bearish leg and then go lower later on. Okay, that's kind of the fear here, but nonetheless, if it makes sense, it makes sense. Even when it comes to buy, so we could end up buying here too, depending on how price looks. Let's say we get a little bit more displacement here, break these internal highs. As long as we don't hit the 50% yet, I think we could play a pullback and a continuation. But nonetheless, again, there's still some things not necessarily at risk, but obviously we probably will for sure get the 101. It's just a matter of, are we going to get the 102 or not? So, oh, do we have red folder? Don't tell me, man. My thing's been fucking with me. I don't know why it's been looking like this. That's all the way at 6 a.m. I don't care about that. Where's my thing off? Because something's been off. Is it at 6 a.m.? No. Yeah. Something's off here. I gotta fix it. I don't know where's the time at. Look, see, what time is yours news at? This shit's all thrown off. There it is. There it is. I found it. Don't even trip. Better. All right. Or better now. Boom. There's still nothing really. I mean, yeah, we have GDP at 1, at 2, 4. Yeah, there's a lot of news later in the day. Nothing that I'm really going to get worried about as of right now. Maybe for Jerry, yes. Let's look at UK 100 though. Okay. Very oversold on UK 100. But what did we finally do on UK 100? Finally hit the 50% of this 4-hour leg. Okay, that was our overall long-term bias, or yeah, I guess you could say that. Finally did that. Obviously, I don't want to say I don't like how it hit it, where it just kind of continuously trended lower. I mean, that's how, nice we were trending, but nonetheless, we weren't necessarily trending within like the higher time frames with actual pullbacks, just kind of making new lows. So obviously, I'm not going to continue to sell, right? But I do think we can catch a buy here. And the reason I think that is because, first things first, even if we're just looking at this internal structure of this hourly leg, what do we see? We're seeing the 5 minute starting to purge and make some new highs. Then that internal structure, we're seeing pullbacks. And we're seeing price now create new internal highs of this 5 minute leg. So I think, well, one, we actually could just take a break of these highs. I'd actually feel comfortable taking a break of the highs. And again, we just haven't taken breaks of highs in a long time, just because of the fact that I don't want to say haven't had opportunity, but nonetheless, again, like there's been a lot of times where we'll basically wait for the high to be broken and then just another pullback to be made. All right. But let's see. did facilitate a pullback. The one thing with the break of the high, and the reason I haven't been taking it, is because, like, let's say we were to just wait for a break of this high and stops are down here. This is actually not appropriate stops. And the reason I can say this isn't appropriate, because price still could come higher with these highs, have a deeper pullback. And this has happened to us a lot, and kind of why I strayed away from breakouts. It's just not breakouts in general. It's like still aligning with my overall system as far as this leg here, made a bullish leg, had a pullback, and we could expect continuation higher. Okay. Well, we just had open. But the reason, again, is there's been so many attempts where we did this, and it won, but there's been attempts where we did this, it wicks these highs, still stays within this leg, has a deeper pullback, and then continues higher. Where if we were to enter at a break at this high, stops at these lows, obviously we'd lose. So the right way to do this is if we took the trade where the stops are all the way down here, but that's just kind of, I don't want to say unrealistic, but like I'd rather at that point just wait for a new leg higher and then just play the next pullback where I know, okay, that point we made the new leg higher, we confirm that this is a new low that led to a new high, and we can play that. Okay, but I like buys on both. Okay, so guys, again, UK 100 and DAX is not on DX trades or legacy. That's why we are trading NQ as well, but we're just waiting for something with NQ. There's, yesterday we had a decent opportunity, today is whatever, we're gonna see what we can get, but just nothing really of interest right now. I am really just kind of looking at UK 100 DAX, which we haven't in a while. I like buys on both. We look beautiful here. Again, made a new high, and then after we had a pullback, we are continuously making new internal highs. So I really think we should run here, unless we just really want to make lower prices. But nonetheless, I do think even if that's the case, we should have a somewhat of a pullback of this hourly leg, and then we have a sell-off. But honestly, just based off how UK 100 looks, we've already hit the equilibrium of this entire leg. We could just end up ripping up and taking these highs. But that's obviously a really big move. So what a shit fucking open though. Obviously, when it comes to DAX, guys, like if price hits the equilibrium before we get entry, I'm not taking nothing. The news is what kind of scares me for Europe. I mean, it's an orange folder, but there's still a lot of news, so. DAX is not on DX trades. DAX and UK 100 is not on DX trades. Only NQ. But that's why we're trading NQ. Okay, we're just waiting for a setup. What's up, Craymatic? No, you're good, bro. You're good. Don't worry about it. Just know that like most futures firms don't really offer, which is upsetting. Like we do really good when it comes to DAX and UK 100, but this is where I personally trade my live account. This is where a lot of people do trade with me on their live accounts. This is why I still trade it. Like there may be a point in time where like I can't say I no longer trade UK 100 and DAX on stream, because if I'm trading it personally, I still got to look at it. But that's kind of what I do. Like this is where, again, like I make my most money has been DAX and UK 100. So when there's a setup, I'm more or less looking for something there. And then when I look for something on NASDAQ, which we are, just no setups yet, I'll tell you guys, just so you guys are able to take a trade. But oops. What a really bad open for UK 100. Like terrible. DAX isn't too bad. If we get a break of this high, beautiful. I also like the fact that even though I mean, we could hit equilibrium here and still play higher because we have Tokyo highs up here. And like, again, like from a larger point of view, I think DAX has the potential of facilitating this entire leg's pullback rather than just that internal leg. But obviously that internal leg is still a factor to care about, being that price could respect this internal leg and go lower. But we'll see if we can, get some opportunity within here. I just don't like that there's news, even though it's orange folder and it's GDP. Just not really a fan of that. But so now we're playing this entire leg here. We broke this internal high. We'll see if we can catch anything going back up higher. Again, it's really good as far as confluences. Let's turn this off real quick. Again, we have higher time frame alignment. We know we need to pull back. We had the sweep of the lows, break a structure. Do we have imbalance? We haven't bounced any all the way down here, so I wouldn't even really consider it just because we don't really have an imbalance at our point of entry, which is fine. And then obviously we're waiting for 57% entry. So decent trade score, 80%. I'm going to take it. Going to rock with it. And obviously at 101, we would go to break even. We're going to see what goes on here. Again, still looking for NAS. Obviously, NAS is not moving all too much here. But I'm really just waiting for a break of these highs because I do think we will break these highs. And I do think from there we can catch some type of pullback. But I expect higher prices. UK 100 is looking horrible. That first opening candle was not even 10 points, which is disgusting. Damn, my phone's gonna die. Well, we're expanding higher, so obviously the range expands. I just really don't want to see price hit this equilibrium. I have a feeling it is though. And then at that point, it's a matter of, are we going to not necessarily risk it, but I guess, yeah, play a little bit of a riskier trade to play a higher into that internal range to hope that it's kind of going to ignore that and play the deeper pullback, which again, like, yes, there's a chance of it, but at the same time, we've just been running bearish. So that's where it's a little bit iffy. But also, again, like, I think I would, because of the fact that we have Tokyo High sitting up here. We have a lot of liquidity. Yesterday was a good trade. What'd you trade, Ada? And Q sells. Sells and buy, fire. Yeah, sells ripped straight into the area that we intended it to go to. All right, so we're kind of getting what we want to see here on NAS. Again, like I said, I do expect higher prices. I just had no setup for higher prices, like no real proper setup, so we couldn't trade that higher. DAX is expanding. I think I'm just going to play this leg higher up into Tokyo highs, even though, again, like, and keep in mind, like, I'm fine taking this trade and potentially losing if price does end up respecting this internal legs. Let's just say it's pulling back into 50% to sell right back off, right? It 100% can, okay? But I am willing to play that risk because I do believe that the probabilities are higher. And the fact that price is going to ignore this internal leg and play more of this swing leg here, have a pullback of that leg, and then look to continue lower. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, there's a lot of liquidity sitting up here that price still not necessarily needs to take, but is more likely to take. And then from there, we can expect lower prices. Okay, so I'm willing to play these buys still. I'm kind of going to ignore that, but again, enter at your own risk. If price just keeps flying, like if we end up getting all the way up here, okay, I'm not gonna fucking take it. No. So What time is it? It's 12:09 a.m. for me. All right, we're finally getting a break of the high. UK 100 just looks like shit, man. Absolute shit. This is probably the worst UK 100 open I've seen in a while. Where you come from again? Cali. Live in Cali. I was just taking the best nap of my life right now. I'm ready to go back to sleep, guys. I'm trying my best to fix my sleep schedule, guys. It's been so bad. So bad. All right, guys. Like I said, if price just keeps running, just absolutely flies on DAX, again, there's nothing I could do about it. Obviously, like, the only thing we could have done is enter her at a break of this high, but then her stop would have still been 120 points. We probably wouldn't be really looking for anything massive as far as TP wise. I really just want to wait for this pullback if we get it. Like, I truly expect price to come all the way up into Tokyo highs. It's just a matter of the higher and higher we continue to go, I think that it's less probable. Obviously, we still can have a deeper pullback in the continuation higher, yes, especially if our goal, our target is Tokyo highs. But then we're also dealing with just a really big fucking stop loss, where I don't want to have a 200 fucking point stop loss. Because if we're all the way up here, we're seeing like 115 point stop loss, which isn't terrible. You know, we've dealt with it before. We know we'll still get, but see, to Tokyo highs is not even a 1 and 2. That's where I fucking hate that shit. That shit actually pisses me off. So, how's my vacation? Which one? If you're talking to Thailand, it was pretty good. Pretty good. I liked it. I'd see myself going back out there. I'm about to go to the last one. Well, I also went to Utah, but I was just like a trip. I just be going places. It was good though. Tide was good. About to go to Mexico too. About to be traveling through Mexico, a bunch of different, what does it be considered out there? States out there? Cities? So I'm gonna try my best to stream, guys. I think I'll be able to stream, okay? The thing is, I'll be on a cruise. So that's where it's kind of gonna be a little bit, not necessarily difficult. Well, yeah. To see if like I'm actually gonna be able to have the internet capacity. I think I will. I think I have an idea when it comes to that. So, treat yourself to more peace. Yeah, but it just feels like, you know, I like, it's not that like I have to be here, but at the same time, like, I want to be here. You know, it just, again, like, it is, you know, a business. Not, I guess, yeah, it's a business at the end of the day. You know, it's my business. It's how I run things. You know, I go live. I help people. I have students. You know, external work too, as far as like, you know, different businesses that I'm in. So, like, I love treating myself. That's like when I take trips. Like, I call them trips. Like, I've never, even as a kid, I used to travel a lot with my parents. I would never call like a getaway or flying somewhere. I would never call it vacation. And the reason I never call it vacation is just because I think it's a mindset thing. I feel like vacation is what people who work call it, which there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it, right? But I've always been in a mindset where it's like, I don't want to ever have to say like, oh, I got to take a vacation this year. No, I get to go on trips because that's just part of my job. I get to travel and work. And again, the reason I share that with you guys is because it's ultimately just a mindset thing. Like, if you can switch your mindset to think on a, you know, different level, different frequency, I'd say that honestly did a lot for me, you know, growing up, as far as never considering something a vacation, considering it just a trip, something that I was considering or making myself believe it was part of my daily life, even when it wasn't. And now it is. Like, when I do go out, when I do go on trips, I kind of manifested the life of, it's just a work trip. You know, I go out, I still work, I still got to do what I do, but that's the life I want. It's the life I always wanted, you know? So, thank you, Ada. Yeah. I know I gotta think myself, but I can't trade Jim Thorne on Legacy. No, Jer 40 or Jer is not on Legacy, guys. Sorry. If you're on YouTube, just got here. But we're trading Nasdaq as well. I am looking for hopefully a position here. We may just have to end up taking buys. Oh no, we're not gonna take buys. So I think we could take buys. So here's the thing. We'll see if we can get some type of setup here soon to either catch this pullback. But if price just kind of pulls back on its own, we'll wait for price to obviously pull back into an area and then start showing some type of internal structural shift to take prices higher. Okay. But yeah, like I obviously need to treat myself more, but I'm still in a position where like I can, like I'm not, like I'm there, but like I just have such big goals where it's like I don't ever want to consider myself there until I have a bill in my bank account. Like a billion with a B. With a big fat B. That's when like I'll be like, okay, I'm good. But to each their own too. Some people are fine with just making a mill. I don't. I want a billion. I want an empire. I want to take over. Not like the world or anything, but like I want to build a legacy. That's why it's called legacy funded futures. We want that part, yeah. All right, still kind of waiting here. What I want to see here on NAS is obviously if we just kind of straight shot down, I guess it's not a bad thing, but again, like being that we still need some type of pullback, continuation. Maybe we can take the trade from a 5-minute and a 1-minute alignment if price does come all the way down to the 71%. We're still dealing with a pretty big stop loss, bigger than normal. Nah, no trade yet. We're just waiting. But I'm hoping we get something within here, even if it's like, let's say price is creating this kind of little pullback here, nothing crazy, but an internal little push. Maybe we sweep these highs or break these highs and then re-break them like this. I'll look to take that. GRX, why you call me mommy? What the fuck? Crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. I think he did fall in love with me. It's okay. That's crazy. All right, so we're getting that pullback that I am expecting. Just really no entry when it comes to like anything that aligns with my system. Like, yes, you guys could just say fuck it, like I'm a sell, knowing that price should pull back, but I need the confirmation. I need the confirmational shifts of structure, something to actually kind of give me, an edge, right? I guess you could say. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense without it. So we would just be trading and trade at that point. I really need something here. But again, I am expecting higher prices. It's kind of a waiting game at this point, to be honest. Again, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing a nice little bullish push here, and then not necessarily correction, but obviously price changing character back lower, And then we look for something like within here to just take price into this 50% and then just call it a day. How's your guys' week been so far? What time is it for you guys? 12:19. Looks like for DAX, we're going to keep going higher. Is UK 100, this is, I'm not even going to be interested in UK 100 the way it's moving, guys. This is just, since market open, we've moved 16 points in 20 minutes. 320, you are a trooper. So if you guys are East Coast and you're on here, crazy. Some crazy work. I look, you have not been liking London session. And like, okay, like I like trading London session, but not gonna lie, it's the time. It's the trade time. Is what's really like getting me. I have such a bad sleep schedule. Just got off work fire. No, Alan. No. US 100 typically refers to like NASDAQ, NAS 100. So US 30 on legacy would be MYM or YM, and NQ or NASDAQ would be NQ or MNQ. One of the two. To make money, yeah, now we're very privileged. Are we just trying to look for confirmation or no? Yeah, guys, we're just waiting at this point for confirmation. Again, like, if we're going to take a trade here, it's either price just kind of dumps off and gives us confirmation down in here, because I expect buys long term. Okay, I expect buys long term. I expect price to continue higher, but obviously, you know, like, if you guys know, like, the way we always move, we move in waves. Okay, we're going to start trending. That's mainly what we look for. Okay, so I'm expecting price to first have a pullback, being that we just broke an internal high before continuing higher. But of course, we could look at the 1 minute to capitalize on some type of pullback. But in order to do that, I need to see some proper structure. Right now, we just have this bearish leg. This is why I say I wouldn't mind seeing a nice bullish push and then a re-break of these lows, which would be better structure overall, as far as actually having a break of some type of internal low. And then we could look to play the pullback down into here. So where do you see the liquidity? I see liquidity, I mean, way up here. So, I mean, we have Tokyo highs way up here. Okay, that's one point of interest. We took New York. Okay, we already spoke New York from yesterday. I think overall, I mean, we've just been pumping. We have a lot of imbalance to fill. So even if we don't come and take Tokyo highs up here, I do think we'll at least come and take, like, or fill this imbalance, or react off the fair value gap, whatever you guys want to call it. But nonetheless, I do think we have more or less liquidity higher. Obviously, we have a lot of liquidity lower. Okay, there's a lot of resting liquidity down here from everyone just kind of buying for the last couple of weeks. But nonetheless, I think we're still in a position to buy here. And that's the thing, is like, we don't even necessarily like have to buy. Like, we may end up catching sells today. And the reason I say that is because, again, if price does what it wants it to do in here and we play this entire pullback, we're going to play sells into this pullback to then potentially see price buy up. But again, if I catch a sells, I'm not going to buy. Like, there's no reason to. I'm just like a one and done. One and done. UK 100's finally gaining some fucking momentum. About time. I may end up playing this leg, so if price breaks higher within the 5 minute, these are our last lows that led to the break of this high, I could play the larger pullback just because I am expecting price to potentially go higher on UK 100. Yes, it was really slow off the jump, but this is what it is. Like, obviously we could still play this internal structure, but I'd rather wait for it to break the swing structure and then we play that. Between levers? Levers or levels? What do you mean? Maybe I'm just not getting the phrase. Is it wrong if I'm making my setup on NQ but trading MNQ? Do I have to mark up MNQ trading? Not necessarily, but no. No, not at all. You're good. You're good. Lever? What lever? I'm like trying to think what you're talking about here. Is it like a trading terminology? But Arturo, yeah, like you're good. You can mark it up on NQ and be trading MNQ. Yeah, Ada, I really don't know what you're referring to for some reason. Maybe I'm just totally in the loss and would get it. The bit more explanation, but I'm just like, I don't know. Oh, leverage. Okay. Between leverage, like broker leverage. Yeah, we are respecting this for value gap. So again, we could take price lower from here, but I mean, I don't really trade all that, so you guys definitely can. There we go. See, that's why I don't trade for value gaps, guys. Good morning, Nancy. So like with broker leverage, Ada, it just like it differs because like, so like let's say someone's offering 500,000 leverage, they're just giving you bigger spending power to place larger positions with a smaller account. So like in some cases with NASDAQ, you have to have a certain amount in your account to even be able to place, one lot. Whereas, if you're trading with zero leverage, you have to have a lot of money in your account. If you have 1 in 500 leverage, 1 in 1,000 leverage, you don't have to have that amount in your account that you typically would because it looks like you do. So that's why, again, like a lot of people favor brokers with higher leverage when they have less capital to invest with. Like the one I use, like I don't use 1 in 1,000 leverage, but the broker I use does offer 1 in 1,000 leverage for people. Morning traders, fresh session, fresh opportunities in the market. Yes, I agree. I just say that inverse, yeah. See, again, like when it comes to fair value gaps, guys, like I pay attention to them, but I'm not big off entering off them. Like I would rather trade, I guess you can say understand price action rather than just relying off a fair value gap or something like that. Like again, like they're good in their own ways. But again, like just like respecting an area may not necessarily be, the cause to a sell-off. It could have been 100%. Could have been. But that's where I think if you are going to trade IFVGs for value gaps, you still understand price action in itself. Where, okay, like, yes, we're already pretty bullish. If we're already bullish, where can we expect price to go? Yes, we could have expected sells. to facilitate the pullback. But in that case, obviously, let's say, we would have waited for the fair value gap reaction and then, saw some other type of inverse right after it to the downside. Okay. Then obviously that's where, I would only trade IFVs using fair value gaps, which I don't. But nonetheless, that's where I would. With the margin. I can't do that with the margin. I can't do that with the margin 101. What do you mean you can't do that with the margin? Well, guys, it did exactly what I wanted to do. It made, continued higher, in the sense of, again, like I want to see break these highs, but I just, like we saw a pretty big run now. I still need to see a break of some type of internal low. And obviously a pullback from there, which again, like that could take 30 minutes to an hour, to be honest, depending on how fast price is moving. DAX is going higher. Again, I expected higher prices, but it's just a matter of we're not getting the setup I want, right? Yes, like I said, we could take a break those highs, but it just wasn't worth it. UK 100 still have opportunity there, so. But I'm hoping to see that pullback eventually, which I know we will on NASDAQ. So. With leverage, it does make it seem like you do have bigger margin if that's what you're talking about. Or you have more in your account. So CPT. Who do you trade with, Ada? Who's your broker? First thing. So what's your entire goal? Because I feel like leverage isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's making it seem like you don't want leverage. Like when it comes to trading in itself, I feel like that's where you have advantages where it comes to having leveraged accounts. And it doesn't necessarily mean like you're going to need to use it, but I guess in some way, shape, or form, it still comes in use when it comes to placing larger positions. And if you don't want to place a larger position, then you don't necessarily have to. I mean, pretty much all brokers kind of offer it now. And it's just an easier way to place larger positions because, again, like you need a lot of money, like a ridiculous amount of money to even place, a one lot on NASDAQ, let's say. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. I forget how much it is. Let's see. Okay, no. You don't. I'm tripping. So you don't need that much on NASDAQ. It's like $1,000 to $2,000, which isn't crazy. So I get like you don't need leverage, but I still use leverage because, again, like I can go higher lots and stuff like that if I want. But then it's also about, like, yes, you can place more lots, but nonetheless you may not necessarily need to because at the end of the day, your risk factor may not be, there to risk 5 to 10 lots. So I'd say use it. And honestly, I've never heard of Capital.com. Is it a Forex broker? Not just Forex. Is that why I use it? Well, obviously you have indices, commodities, and stuff like that. The fact that you got bonds too, what the fuck? Rank getting 1 and 3 almost. Yeah, I know. It just ran. It's good for EU. Crypto and all that stuff is also there. Okay. Is that the only broker you've ever used? This is here. Give me a second. This by far is like the only one I've used. I messaged you. That's the only one I use. I honestly, like, I've only ever used like 1 or 2 other brokers. By far the best one when it comes to withdrawals, and everything like that. So withdrawals, they're double regulated, which is, I don't know, is capital.com regulated? I know, guys. So we ended up running it on NQ. Yeah, I was about to hop off to Luxy. Just not the best. Like, again, everything did what we wanted to do. I expected higher prices for DAX, just didn't get the setup I wanted, or the pullback that I wanted. Expected higher prices for NAS, still haven't seen it. Again, we still have time. I still have an hour 30 minutes of my trading session, so I'm still going to be obviously looking at the markets, guys. It's just I don't like to sit here this long on stream. So that being said, guys, again, another no trade day. It is what it is. Again, I can't be mad. Directional bias is on point. It's spot on. It's just a matter of when are we seeing setups? Are they, hitting our areas of interest? Yesterday, literally missed by a point, and it absolutely ran to a 1 to 2, maybe even 1 to 3. Today, again, I still think there's room to catch a trade. So if you are going to pay attention, I'd say first things first, look for that pullback opportunity. If price breaks these lows, we can definitely catch a pullback. As long as price doesn't hit the 50% of this entire leg, then we're good. Okay, if it hits the 50%, don't look for sells. Just wait for, obviously, price hit 50%, create some type of internal bullish structure, and then just play higher, okay? Because we know that price should continue higher, right? But nonetheless, guys, appreciate you guys being here. I'm out here. If you guys want to go get an account from Legacy, we've been doing great. Use code Nick, get a nice little discount. I think it's like 20-25% off right now, so go take advantage of that. I'll see you guys same time tomorrow.